17B is Mike Lanehart. 20B is Tyler McKnight. Beside Tyler McKnight's the 25J Dan McRoberts, 29A Colin Cunningham, 17E Nick Gill, 35L Chris Johnson, Dan Lowther, 63M Blake Lomas, 75C Dylan Phelps, 78J. Here we go. Watch the green light. Just like the last one, top three of the main event. 99's having problems.
His bike is dead. That goes green.
He was waving, wanting some help, and some of the other riders behind him didn't even take off either. So we'll see what happens. He's waving his hand, trying to get him to stop.
Some of these guys waving their hand real bad, but there's no red light. This is a green race as of right now, and any rider should know when you got a green light, you need to race until you see red.
Well, I'm glad I'm not an AMA official right now. They're trying to get things sorted out. The 17 is coming his way, making his way towards the front. That is Lanehart again. He picked up an award last night, and now he's up to the third spot. Never even heard of this young rider before. And he is making a name for himself tonight, trying to put it in the main event. Second is Dylan Moore on the 26E. And now the red flag comes out. So there was a lot of confusion going on the start. I was a bit overtaken by it, too. One of the riders in the second starting spot, Kyle McGrain, put his hand in the air. He was asking for 2 minutes.
Well, there is no 2-minute rule nowadays,
okay,
but
so
we do have a couple riders down here.
That's why the red flag comes out, I believe. So getting things figured out. 78J, that has to be Dylan Phelps now, the rider that picked himself up, and he's got his bike off the track. He's waving for his mechanic. Steve Moore comes around on the scooter, says, hey, hop on that thing. I'll give you a push. Kimco Scooters, give him a push back. See if maybe he's going to try to fire it up. I don't know. Do you think he'll fire it up? Or?
That's possible. I don't know if it's been backed off compression, but it looks like they're just trying to figure out a way to get him over the pit area, maybe get a remote starter. Some of these 450 motocross bikes with the high compression engines that they build are difficult to kickstart when they're hot. And sometimes just a simple crankshaft starter will be the way to go. Get them going.
So they reset everything on our leaderboard, so maybe might be having a complete restart.
I think right now that's probably the best move.
I do too, because there was a lot of confusion. Some of the riders didn't take off, some riders did take off, and it was a big mess. But McGrain was the 99A, the one that put his hand up. He was having problems right there on the starting line for sure.
Well, in years past, we've had a 2-minute rule, and it's something that they're trying to change in order for us to be able to speed up the program. There have been times where people would maybe abuse the whole 2-minute rule thing, and a lot of times theoretically you could delay a start of a race a long time. So basically when these guys come out of the pit gate, you know, they're expected to be able to race. In the case here, we have a rider that went to put his bike in gear and stalled his engine. In the old days, you would ask for 2 minutes to be able to start your bike. Nowadays, they're expected that, hey, get the thing started. But when you're in the starting sequence, when the yellow lights are on, it's kind of hard to stop that without going to an immediate red.
Well, but it could have got a little crazy because he put his hand up and the riders behind him could see his hand, so they didn't take off. So it kind of got a little bit hairy right off the start. So we'll get things figured out down there. We'll have a complete restart coming up in just a second. Up next will be our GNC1 semifinals. We'll have 2 of those, and then we'll have our intermission. I know our first intermission was short and sweet. We will have one more intermission before we get to our finals. So that's what we have right here in front of us. Just got a message from Bert Sumner up there in Wisconsin. It says 69L Mishler is also a third-generation Wisconsin racer.
Awesome.
Lots of cool people following us on Twitter. Let's go down into the pit area with Heather.
Hey, thanks, guys. Obviously, a little bit of confusion out on the track there, but for some of the riders that are in the GNC1 class, like Kenny Colbeck behind me, he qualified to go straight into the main event. So what do when they don't have anything to do? They just sit back, relax, kind of hang out. He's sitting right here in the number 2 jersey. Speaking of his jersey, it is pretty cool. It's got some nice bullets on it, so he's just going to hang out. Those guys are going to do a few adjustments on the bike, and we'll send it back to you. Hopefully they can get this restart figured out.
Looks like the bikes are pulling back up to the starting line where they're supposed to be for a complete restart, I believe. That is good news for some of the riders. We want it to be fair for everyone, but, you know, you put your hand up, had some issues, so it caused some melee, but hopefully everything's okay with 78J. Also, the rider that went down, Dylan Phelps from Corunna, Michigan, and he can restart this one. There's Lanehart, the 17B. He's making a name for himself down here. He's from up in New York. Don't have no hometown listed, but he's doing good here this weekend. Rounds 1 and 2 anyway.
Well, he's from parts unknown in New York.
Well, we know it's New York, so the letter B.
That's right. Letter B signifying that's his home area.
Okay, just trying to get everybody in their exact starting spots where they're supposed to be. There's a good look at the 65L, Chris Johnson from Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. Did I get that right?
Sound right, Fond du Lac.
Uh-oh, somebody's getting a little hot.
Somebody overheating here, waiting to get this thing going.
That's not a good thing. Might have overheated our camera, too.
Might have.
That's not a good feeling. It can't be good. You might have to get some Evans coolant. What do you think?
That's a good start.
Getting everybody situated. Here we go. It's getting crazy. If you don't finish in the top 3 spots, you are done for 1 month until we go to the Circuit of the Americas. Here we go. Watch the green light. Long one this time. Uh-oh. Somebody took off too soon.
Yeah, we had a rider creep across, maybe clutch dragging.
There are laser beams across all 3 rows. If somebody goes across, that light will not go. Uh-oh, 25J is the guilty party. Dan McRoberts from Cadillac, Michigan.
Tough break from McRoberts, creeping across the line. This 60, he needs to get moving. He wants a green light here in a hurry.
He needs one, or he will not have anything left in his radiator. It looks like they're going to pull him off the racetrack. He can't even see. No, he stays on there.
Well, he really can. You get out of line now, and they're going to start the race without him. He's got to either go or let this thing blow up, or he's got to stay where he's at for now.
His heart has to be racing, hoping that motorcycle can make it to the end of this race, and hopefully he can finish in the top 3 positions.
The fortunate thing is the track is pretty slippery tonight. Any of the water that comes out of it probably won't make it that much slippery at all. So. Right.
That's good, because if we're on a fast groove track, they might not let him go. If moisture gets on a hard, slick groove track, they won't let the riders race if there's any moisture coming out. So here we go. The bikes are in gear. Now they're going to give him a lap.
I think they decided to let him, all right, give him a lap. Go cool him off, boys. I know we've had these things waiting a little while. Don't think that was what you would call a true start. Looks like the AMA officials waved him on by, but we look back here at the 65L of Johnson. He might want to go a little slower, keep a little bit of airflow going on there a little while, not get up here and stop so fast.
Good point.
One of those things where you just got to kind of keep that flow going, take your time getting around the racetrack, let everybody get set, come up to your spot. It looks like he reduced a little bit of that steam, but as we reset the field, there's a good chance it may come back up.
And he's in the 2nd row, so we have to wait until the riders in the 3rd row and some of the riders in the 4th row pull back up to that spot. And the bike will start overheating again if there's any radiator fluid left.
Well, it's coming out the top. Any engine running water as a component of its coolant is going to build vapor pressure, and that's what we're seeing coming out is the vapor pressure. It's burning off the water right now, and the only thing left is the coolant itself.
All right, we're getting ready to go. Now another bike's creeping forward. They're going to put him back, which is making that bike get hotter and hotter. The 65L, Chris Johnson from Fond du Lac, Wisconsin, having one heck of a time sitting back there in the 2nd spot. I would not want to be in his seat right now.
I would not want to be, with all the pressure coming through the radiators, hope the hoses stay on it, too.
I didn't think he could see the green light. He was looking around the corner like he can't see through the steam. Light turns green. Carlisle grabs the whole shot. They get into the 1st corner. Ben Lau goes, that's Tyler McKnight goes really wide. I saw the 20. It's the 20B goes really wide.
Up front, Carlisle out front doing a good job controlling the position as we look back at Johnson blowing smoke.
New leader, 26E, takes things over. That's Dylan Moore out front. Missed the last 2 seasons, but he is now your leader. He goes wide. Carlisle's trying to come up there on the inside. 1 rider goes down. Now 2 riders down in the 2nd corner.
Yeah, we see the 17B, Lanehart there in 3rd, was getting challenged there from around the outside.
We'll keep on racing. Dylan Moore out front, Carlisle in 2nd. Good battle for 3rd. It is Lanehart and the 20B right there. Tyler McKnight trying to sneak his way in.
Battle in New York here for the 3rd and 4th positions.
Another rider goes down deep in the field. We're going to keep on running. If you get off that groove down there in turns 1, you might as well put it on the ground because that's where everybody's ending up.
It's real slippery. I checked the weather earlier. It's gone up. It's over 80% humidity right now. So what air that these guys are creating with their motorcycles isn't really drying out the racetrack. Moisture due in the air is actually making the racetrack wetter than it was when we began.
So the 20 takes a look over his shoulder, and here comes the 65. Believe it or not, Chris Johnson is working his way up the pack. He's already up to 5th. He needs to finish in the top 3 spots, so he still has his work cut out for him, but the 20 is trying to hold him up. He takes a look over his shoulder and trying to make things happen. That is the battle for 4th and 5th. They need to catch up to the 17B of Mike Lanehart.
Well, good thing is the bike's not smoking anymore. It's either out of coolant or
it's
it's cooled down enough by getting a little airflow in it.
Way out front, the 26E, Dylan Morin is out front and pulling away from Simi Valley, California on the Dylan Morin Racing Arai helmet-sponsored entry. And he's got smooth sailing out front on the Kawasaki. He's in front of about 5 Hondas with Carlisle on the 36B. Langhart right now, R3 transfers. 2 laps to go around Daytona Flat Track.
Dylan looking real smooth. Carlisle in second, under a little bit of pressure from Langhart. Those guys have a bit of a breathing room. Hopefully they won't mess each other up. Good battle for fourth, although it doesn't mean a whole lot as far as going into the main event. These guys are getting some good, valuable experience here at the Daytona Flat Track.
Only the top 3 going to the main event. Final lap, white flag is out now. Your leader, Dylan Moore, and Carlisle across the line in second. Langhart still in third. Top 3 pretty much secured into the transfer spots. Here comes your leader. Checkered flag is out. There's your winner, Dylan Moore, 26E, taking the win, lapping one rider to finish. Second, Kobe Carlisle, the Flying Tomato, and Langhart, the 17B, taking that third and final transfer spot away. That was GNC2 semifinal number 2. We have 2 more qualifying races to go here tonight at Daytona Flat Track. Congratulations to Dylan Moore, and your winner on the Kawasaki. His best lap, Chris, was a 19.194, a pretty quick lap.
That's a pretty good lap. Those are comparable.